What's up, everyone? Kyle here. I am super excited to share that my audiobook version of Travel Tips is up now. You can find it on Audible, Libro.fm, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts. Go check it out and buy a copy. It also has 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes of bonus commentary that isn't in the actual book, so that's a little added bonus. But go check it out. I appreciate all the support, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Welcome, everyone, to our travel experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen, and welcome to episode 85. So if you're new to the podcast, I've had a lot of new listeners in recent weeks, and I'm super excited and thankful for everyone who's been listening, new and old listeners. It's really awesome to see the growth of this podcast and just share travel with everyone and inspiring stories. I think it's a lot of fun. But episode 85, so every fifth episode, I am doing an episode of my own where I share one of my travel stories or inspiring stories and just talk about some of my own experiences as well. So this one, I thought, since it was recent that I got to go on this trip, I'm going to talk about going to Glacier and some of the inspiring stories behind that. So a couple weeks ago, I went to Glacier National Park. It was my first time being there. Now it's a long drive. From where I live, it's close to 8 hours in total. And I lose an hour because I'm coming from the Pacific time zone to the Mountain time zone. So took a while to get there, but it was a lot of fun. I made a little weekend trip out of it because I have some friends in the Spokane, Washington area and the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho area. And so I kind of broke up the trip that way. I left pretty early on a Saturday and drove to Spokane to see one of my good friends, catch up with him because it's been way too long. And so I got to do that, got to stop, get a break, grab some coffee, that sort of thing. So that was really nice. And then same thing in Coeur d'Alene, went and saw some friends, got to hang out a little bit, break up the drive, get some food, all that good stuff. Enjoy a beautiful day in that part of the country. And then as evening started rolling around, I drove up to Glacier. So I went all the way through the panhandle of Idaho, and then through part of Montana, and then western Montana, and then up north through Kalispell, and then finally to Glacier National Park. And so there's some things to note when I was researching, what I needed to, what I needed to do to be able to go to Glacier National Park and do this hike that I wanted to do. Glacier National Park is one of the busiest parks that we have in the U.S. Sees a ton of tourists, a ton of visitors every single year. So it was important that I made sure that I planned this out accordingly. So I don't remember the exact dates now. I believe to enter Glacier National Park between, I believe it's like May, or maybe even April. No, May. It was like May 26th through September 10th of 2023. You have to have not only the park entrance pass, but also a timed reservation for entering the park between 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. And those passes they're only on sale I think 2 days in advance, and they go incredibly quick. And so I knew that, with my schedule and everything, I wasn't going to be able to be ready to get one of those reservations. So they're really inexpensive if you are looking to get a reservation. It's $2 to get that reservation, and then the national park entrance fee was $35. And there's other passes available for those of you that don't know. But I knew that I wasn't going to get that reservation, and I knew that my time was a bit limited. I really only had the one morning essentially to or half a day to explore the park. So my plan was to enter the park outside of 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. and then start the hike early in the morning before all the people were coming, and then be able to leave as things started getting busier and explore other parts of the park. So by the time I got up to the entrance of West Glacier, it was about 1 a.m, and I feel like that was a good time to go in because obviously there's really no one there at that time of night. I got my entrance pass online right before I entered the park, just on the Glacier page of the National Park website, and then went to the park, and my plan was to hike the Highline Trail in the morning. And the Highline Trail is at the top of Logan Pass. Logan Pass is where the Continental Divide is, which is kind of cool. And up there, there's a big parking lot and visitors center for visitors to the park. But yeah, you got to drive all the way up the Rocky Mountains to get there, obviously, to get to the Continental Divide. And they're doing some construction at the time. I'm sure they still are by the time I'm recording this. They were doing some construction on a portion of the road. So it actually took a little while to get up there, even in the middle of the night, I think I saw one car that was moving at that time. It still took probably 50 minutes or so to get to Logan Pass. So it took a while. So if you're planning to visit, just know that it takes a little while to drive through the park. I think it's a similar distance to the east entrance of the park if you're going down the other side of Logan Pass. I didn't do that on this trip, but next time I go, I definitely will check that out for sure. So yeah, I drove another 50 minutes or so and got to Logan Pass. So it's about 2 a.m. I parked my car in the parking lot there. There's a handful of cars in the parking lot. There's a couple people stargazing out there. And I gotta say, it was the perfect night to do it. I didn't plan this out, but it just worked out that way. That the night that I was there was the night of the Perseid meteor shower, which happens, I believe, every August. And so I parked my car. I got out to go to the bathroom, and I just looked up, and not only was there shooting stars from the meteor shower, but the Milky Way was just so incredibly clear. There was so many stars in the sky. It was just, I can't even describe it. It was magical. It's something that I think we're really robbed of by living in big cities with all the light pollution. We're missing out on that connection to the universe as a whole. It's so beautiful when you get out there and there's no light pollution at all. You're just looking up at the sky. You can see so much, and you realize just how small the earth is, how small we are, and how much more is out there. And I think you just feel, I know for me, I feel so much more connected to the world, to the universe, when I'm out there under that dark sky with all the lights, all the stars, and seeing the Milky Way. It's incredible. So if you haven't got to experience anything like that, I really recommend going to a remote place, preferably higher elevation because it's easier to see, and just look up at the stars. It's amazing. So yeah, I saw that, saw the shooting stars. Saw probably like 15, 20 shooting stars in the little bit of time that I was looking up at the sky. And by that time, I was a little tired. It'd been a long day of driving and all that. So I just camped in my car, laid the seat back, and went to sleep for a few hours. I think I got up about 5:30 in the morning, maybe a little bit earlier. and started getting ready, changing my clothes, brush my teeth, all that good stuff. And yeah, just across from the parking lot, there's the main street through the park, and then the the Highline Trailhead. So the Highline Trail is the hike that I did, and I in total, you can go further along the Highline Trail than where I turned off. But to the Garden Wall Trail, which is the second trail that I went on in the park, it was about almost 7 miles to there, and then the Garden Wall Trail is just under a mile to the end of that trail. So before I crossed the road to start the hike on the Highline Trail, there's a sign next to the entrance of the parking lot, and it says Logan Pass, top of the Continental Divide, and then as the elevation. I think it's like 6,600 feet or so. So I took a picture with that, and then I crossed the street and started hiking at about 5:45 in the morning. It was light enough out that I could see fine. I didn't need a headlamp or anything. But the sun didn't rise technically until I think 6:25. So it was just hitting the tops of the light was starting to spread over the mountains and everything, for the first half hour or so before the sun actually came up. Now I will advise, don't do what I do. I didn't prep for it at all. I really should. But there's signs right there at the entrance or right there at the start of the trail that are advising people against hiking alone, advising people to be prepared to see bears and know what to do if you encounter a bear along the trail, because it's a frequent bear area. I didn't have any bear spray with me. I don't have bear spray, and I was hiking by myself, so I was not following any of the rules, and that's not the smartest thing to do. Don't recommend it. It did work out that as I was starting, there was another guy that was walking out, and he said that he was from Colorado and was going to go just a short ways and then sit down and take a time lapse of the sunrise over the mountains, which I'm sure it was incredible. I just walking along and seeing the sunrise over the mountains was amazing. So I walked with him for a little bit, half an hour probably, not too far into the hike, and then I was alone. The nice thing about the trail, though, I would say, is that for a fair portion of it, for a lot of the hike, you can see well in advance along the trail because you're just essentially walking along just below the ridge line of the mountain. So it's a lot of open country. There's not a ton of trees. There's some sections where you really can't see anything as you twist and turn, but for the most part, you can see ahead of you quite a ways. So I could see, if there's a bear or something on the trail, I was paying attention to that, and I was looking. I was definitely paying attention to my surroundings, above and below me, to see if there's anything around, just in case. Did see pretty shortly into the hike, maybe like 2 miles into the hike, if that. I saw a group of mountain goats, probably about 7 or 8 mountain goats up there. They were grazing just above me. So I watched them for a little bit. That was kind of fun. And yeah, I pretty much speed hiked. I did trail run a part of it. I maybe ran for in total, the whole hike, probably half an hour of it. So not a ton, but maybe a mile or so, 2 miles. Yeah, probably not even that much, not even half an hour. I'd say a mile. But yeah, so I sped hiked through it. I like to hike pretty quick, but it was just stunning. I mean, the scenery is amazing up there. It was beautiful. It was a perfect morning. Wasn't too cold. I think when I got up, it was about 53, 54. I think by the time I was done with the hike, it was like in the high 70s. So just a perfect morning to be up there. It was beautiful watching the colors come into the scenery around me, to see the Rocky Mountains. Just they look incredible. I could see the road that I drove up last night. It was pretty windy and kind of crazy. That road is a little bit wild if you're gonna drive through the park. But that was far below where the trail was. And then yeah, I just hiked. I enjoyed the scenery. There's two guys that passed me probably 4 miles in that were actually running the whole trail. And then yeah, just kept going. It was just me out there. Didn't really see a whole lot of anything else. Saw a marmot. Almost stepped on it as I was turning a corner. And then yeah, I got to the Garden Wall Trail. And for those of you that know, this is a tough 0.9 miles. Now I'm in pretty good shape. I'm 2 months removed from running 100 miles in 26 and a half hours. And this 0.9 miles, that's the Garden Wall Trail, is basically straight up. I think it's almost 1,000 feet of elevation gain. And it took me probably half an hour to do 0.9 miles. Maybe not quite that much, but pretty close to half an hour. I definitely had to take some breaks, and it was tough. It was a tough hike. So for those of you that may be new to hiking, I definitely encourage you to be wary of what that short hike is, but it's a lot. But the view at the top is amazing. So when you get to the top of the Garden Wall Trail, you turn the corner and you're looking at you get to the Grinnell Glacier overlook point. And so you get up there and you look down onto this alpine lake, and then where the glacier would be in the wintertime, where it would have existed in the past. And then you got the mountains all around. It's just a stunning sight for sure. I think I'm somehow going to try to get that picture up there for this. But yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Amazing view. So I went up a little bit higher than where that point is and sat down and just enjoyed the early morning sun. At this point, it was about probably 8:30ish, 8:40ish in the morning. By the time I got up there. And so I sat down and just, had a sandwich, drank some water, some Gatorade, took some pictures and videos of the incredible sight that I was seeing. And I had close to a 360-degree view, so I could see out across all the Rocky Mountains to the west. And then I could see pretty far to the east as well. There was just one point that was blocking my view to the north. But other than that, it was it was amazing. And when I was up there was 3 or 4 goats that were below me that were, grazing and, getting their breakfast in for the morning. So it was fun to watch them a little bit. Lots of little chipmunks, squirrels, all that good stuff up there. So yeah, I was up there for probably like 20 minutes or so. And then I started the descent. The descent, in terms of how difficult it is cardiovascular wise, not as hard to go down the 0.9 miles. That's basically straight up and down, but it is hard on the knees for sure, on the legs. So I still took it pretty slow. I think it still took me like 25 minutes to go down, from there. And I want to make sure I didn't, slip off and fall a very long ways if I did happen to slip, because it's pretty long drop on one side. So yeah, I went down, and that was the first time that I was about halfway down, and that was the first time that I saw another person out there since the 2 trail runners that I had that had passed me like 2 hours ago. And so I saw some guys that were coming up, and then started seeing people constantly as I made my way down. Got down the Garden Well Trail, and then headed back to the trailhead along the Highline Trail, the almost 7 miles, and just started seeing people constantly along the trail. There's always someone I was passing. I think probably I passed over 100 people for sure, maybe closer to that 200 mark in the 7 miles on the way back. So there's a lot of people. So definitely was glad that I went out early in the morning when I was basically the only one on the mountain. Got to see all of that without having to worry about other people and that sort of thing, which was really nice. And was able to hike at my pace, which was nice too. And then on the way back, it was a little bit difficult because I had to pass a lot of people, so I couldn't hike as fast as I wanted to, but I was still able to go pretty quick, going against all the traffic. And so I got to get back to the trailhead fairly quickly. I wanted to see what I could do. This was a bit of a training hike for me because I got a big one coming up in November. That's going to be much higher elevation and much more difficult. So I wanted to see where I was at physically, mentally, that sort of thing. So I was able to do just 16 miles in just under 6 hours, which was, I felt like that was pretty good. That was what I was shooting for, was under 6 hours. So that was great. So got back to the parking lot, which was totally packed now, whereas there'd only been a handful of cars when I had started in the morning. Totally packed. There's people that were waiting to find a parking spot. It was chaos. So many people around the visitor center. But got a picture with the Logan Pass sign again. Went to the bathroom. Went to the visitor center. Got my magnets and postcards, and then jumped in the car and headed down the mountain to the entrance of West Glacier, which was beautiful in the daylight. Now I could see the mountains very clearly, just insane views. I mean, definitely. I think this was my 23rd national park, and certainly I would put it in the top 3, if not the top 1 now. It's amazing. So I made my way down and took some pictures along the way. Lots of traffic on the way up. So again, I highly recommend going early or later in the day, I guess. But beautiful views. And then I exited out of Glacier and then made the drive back. I gotta say, it was my first time being in the Flathead Valley, where Kalispell is, in that area, in Flathead Lake. And man, what a beautiful area. I was just in awe of how beautiful it was up there. Had no idea, but it was amazing. Stunning views for sure. And Kalispell seemed like a good town from the little bit that I drove through the main part of it, but it seemed like a cool little town. But anyways, so I made the drive back. Took a long time, but drove back to Yakima, and that was the end of the trip. But incredible. Highly recommend. You can totally just spend half a day there and get to see a lot in Glacier. Definitely recommend more time than that. I would say a full day. If you can, like, camp out, maybe do 2 days. I think that'd be really amazing. So I guess going back to the reservation thing, like, I knew I needed to be inside the park before 6 a.m. So that was just some extra planning I had to do there. And I don't know. It was an amazing trip. Going back to the hike, I was really, like I said, it was kind of a training hike. I wanted to see, what I could do. I felt really good. I know that a couple years ago, no way I could have hiked that fast. No way I would have felt confident out there. hiking like that by myself early in the morning. Um, and I think it was just, I think I really felt that during that hike, just how, how far I had come, physically and mentally, as well. I felt so good out there. I felt like this was an easy hike for me. I mean, relatively not the hardest hike in the world, but it wasn't, super easy, to do. And, it's at a pretty high elevation. You're at 7,000 feet of elevation, so it's not like nothing. And just to see, how far I'd come, I could easily get that hike done. I didn't have to stop that much to rest or anything. I felt super good, and mentally I had the confidence to go out there and do that myself, and not, have to rely on someone else to be there with me, or wait for someone to be there with me. Although, again, don't recommend doing it by yourself, just in case you do see, a bear. Oh, I did also see some deer out there, and then some very young rams, sheep, right near the trailhead, actually, as I was finishing. So it was kind of cool. Lots of wildlife up there for sure. Yeah, I think it's just, I can speak to my fitness giving me a lot of confidence. I know that maybe fitness isn't a goal of everyone's, but for me, I've found through fitness that, through improving my fitness, not only in terms of, musculature, but also cardiovascular, that it's given me a lot of confidence, because I've been able to achieve a lot, like run 100 miles, and survive, just even finish that. And, be able to do these sorts of hikes. I feel like I can do anything, honestly. And that wasn't the case, a few years ago, before I kind of started on this fitness journey and this journey to really, improve myself, mentally and physically, to a place where I felt good about myself. So, I think you just got to keep putting in that work. I saw this hike as an opportunity to get better as well. While I was, I guess, reveling a little bit in my success of how far I'd come, I was also viewing it as an opportunity to get better, and I saw it as a good training opportunity. And I think that's exactly what it was. I was able to push myself to go a little bit faster, a little bit further. And I did 16 miles in less than 6 hours. That's not something that is necessarily easy to do. I really encourage people to get out there, explore the national parks. They're beautiful. There's so many amazing national parks out there. So much beautiful land out there. Keep working on yourself. See everything as an opportunity to get better. Every challenge is an opportunity to build up your mental fortitude, to improve yourself, in whatever way you want to improve yourself. And just keep exploring out there. There's so much to see, so much to do. Go after whatever your dream is. It's my dream to travel the world, to share it with people, to see all these different things. I also have other dreams of writing more books, and just random things like I can't even think right now, but like get a write up in a magazine and stuff like that. So I definitely encourage you to just keep pushing, keep focusing on what you can control, and stay disciplined towards that goal. Keep working on it. Every day is an opportunity to get better. So hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't seen the pictures, go on my Instagram, Our Travel Experiences Podcast. Check out some of the video that I did of Glacier National Park, some of the pictures. I'll post more of the actual pictures as well. And keep traveling. I look forward to seeing y'all around the world somewhere soon. Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. And make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon.